I'm not telling you this to scare you, merely to inform you. There is a reason we fear the dark. Let me show you.
Ashardalon is an ancient great worm dragon from the tabletop game Dungeons & Dragons. He is called by many to be the dragon from the dungeon, as he is by far the most powerful dragon in recent memory. As there are dozens of sources, novels, mentions, and even board games pertaining to this character, we will be sticking with D&D 3rd edition's lore for the sake of brevity. Many centuries ago, Ashardalon was a dragon of unusual power and greed. He ruled over a portion of the material plane for a time, but large swaths of it would end up charred and barren because of his hunts for food, sport, and power. Because of his vast power, many of the lesser races thought him a god, and cults were formed to follow him into what they thought were holy wars. In the Sunless Citadel adventure module, we learn that a cult of Ashardalon's followers once took up residence in the citadel itself. Later, an unknown cataclysm sank the fortress itself into a canyon, killing everyone inside. The name Ashardalon can be found carved in runes in Room 4, and a shrine to the dragon himself can be found in Room 50. Several cultists are buried there, all of which will rise as undead enemies if they are disturbed. The kobolds in the area revere Ashardalon as a god, as kobolds are rumored to be the quote-unquote heirs to dragons. In the Standing Stone adventure module, local lore says that Ashardalon took offense with the Church of the Elements during his time as a tyrannical ruler. This circle of druids had built a set of stone circles with anti-scrying spells on them to perform their most important yearly rituals. For unknown reasons, Ashardalon massacred them all, destroying most of the standing stones in the process. In a final confrontation, the leader of the Church of the Elements, a druid named Dyed the Wise, mortally wounded the dragon with his powerful magics. According to the story, Ashardalon was literally separated from his heart and fled the mortal coil to another plane of existence. He hid in the outer planes for many years to recover. Centuries of quiet peace went by, and the heart of Ashardalon later appeared in another adventure module called The Heart of Nightfang's Spire. The title refers to a literal giant heart at the center of a cursed tower, and that heart was Ashardalon's. A vampire necromancer named Golthias used his power to preserve the heart and have it serve as a symbol of faith for his cult activities. It also served as his coffin since he was a vampire, the heart being the size of a small hut. Meanwhile, Ashardalon himself replaced his heart with a Baelor called Ammit. Not the heart of a Baelor, but the entire Baelor itself. Finally, having returned to the material plane, Ashardalon makes an appearance before the players in the Bastion of Broken Souls adventure. Before then, he was always spoken of in myth or story, but this was a physical encounter. Ashardalon can only be stopped by a descendant of Dyed, the druid that mortally wounded him the first time. One of the players of the adventure, which one is up to the DM, is his distant descendant. During the final fight of the adventure, the chosen descendant must shout, "In the name of Dyed, whose blood is my blood, who slew your heart, feel again the pain of your heart's demise." This causes Ashardalon to seize up in pain for a short time, as well as provide massive penalties to his godlike stats and attacks. When slain, the demon Ammit bursts from Ashardalon's chest and must also be killed, but Ashardalon stays dead after this encounter. However, because of his massive powers and the location of his death, the Well of Pre-Incarnate Souls, the dragon was not laid to rest. He is not powerful enough to rise to immortality and godhood as he intended, and the sight of his death had a rather unusual effect. Instead of passing beyond the veil, he now roams the universe as a Vistage, a sort of summoning monster spirit that will begrudgingly grant powers and magic to those who summon him properly.